This will be rough the first few times till I finesse it and get things going. First of all, I have 6 raised beds. When I started my garden, I started with 3 raised beds and just tried it out, and it was very successful. Initially, I had to use some store-bought topsoil and composted cow manure, but everything I get now I get from my 3 composting bins in the back. So everything else is compost, and I mix it with peat moss, and I use bone meal and blood meal and some time-release fertilizer for everything I do in my garden, is starting seedlings, transplanting, and topping the beds. I also add some of my worms from my worm composting bin into each bed, and I have unbelievably rich soil. So you can see this is April 7th in Central Florida. The daytime highs are reaching mid to high 80s now, and I think spring is finally here. We were getting some chilly nights, but it's starting to warm up now. So I've got 3 beds of brassicas, to include broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and I've got 2 big plants of dinosaur kale there. I also, in this first bed, if you can see, I grow a bunch of marigolds, and I grow those each year from seed. I save the seeds, and then I propagate more marigolds and throw them throughout my garden, generally around tomato plants because they help fight against nematodes. Within the second bed there, between some of the cauliflower and Brussels sprouts, I also have planted sweet potatoes, and they are, in fact, growing pretty well. Third bed, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli, and I have some cantaloupe planted in there, so the vines on that are starting up. I don't know if you can see it. Beyond that, I've got the 2 trellises. I will have some honeydew melon there. 3 compost bins in the back. They're just made from pallets and fence pickets. They're about to be replaced now. They've lasted about 3 years. I'm going to change those around a little bit. The fence pickets didn't last quite as long as I wanted them to. They're rotting and warping pretty badly. So we're going to do something different next season, and maybe that'll be one of those things I do a video on. That third bin in the back there is all Cherokee purple tomatoes. They're approximately 3 feet tall now. I have some onions sets in there and some marigolds. This middle bed right here is Blue Lake bush beans. I'm not a big fan of the pole beans, so I do like the bush beans. There is one rogue Silver Queen corn in there. Never had any luck with corn, and we got a real bad infestation of corn borers down here, and I'm not one for spraying pesticides, so I sort of sacrifice the corn to the borers. Front bed, Detroit dark beets. I've got 2 or 3 different types of carrots in there. Just some radishes. And then over here I've got some volunteer cilantro that came up from last year's. And I've also planted some okra. First time I've tried the okra, so we'll see how that does. Where these tomato cages are, there's a 2nd generation of peppers in there. I have these 4 right here are Cubanelles, and then I have 1 jalapeno pepper right here. I also have a bunch of California Wonder bells in the back, and some datills and some cayennes that I will be planting out later on. 1 little lone potato plant that came from just a potato that went bad in the kitchen. Right here I've got a potato tower. I forgot the name of the potato. I think it was Kennesaw or something. I bought those. They were actual seed potatoes I bought from a farm store, and they're doing fantastically. That's just chicken wire wrapped around, and then I lined the outside with hay, and then I layered hay and my compost mixture and hay and compost mixture as the plant started to come up. So right now I've got approximately 30 inches of soil in there, and I can come up maybe another 6 inches, and then that's it. Whatever the plants do from that point on is what they do. All right, let's walk over here. I know the camera's not real steady. I'm using an iPad. Cilantro, sweet basil, dill. I pickle my cucumbers, and curly leaf parsley. All of that's doing good. You can see I've got drip irrigation everywhere. Everything is drip irrigation. Okay. Here's one brandywine tomato. I don't know if you can see it. It looks pretty horrible compared to brandywines I've grown in the past. It's in one of those grow bags. It's a smaller grow bag. It's like a 1 gallon size grow bag. It would probably do better in a 3 gallon size grow bag. It's also, if you can see, I have a drip tray under it so it can catch water and absorb the water. But I'm not real pleased with how that's gone. Here's a second year dill right here. It's just flowering, that's it. And in that pot over there, which is hard to see, there is some rosemary. It was about a 3-foot tall plant that I cut back. In the back, more corn that's just gone to the worms. This row here is Roma tomatoes. I do my own saucing, making salsa, tomato sauce, and just canned tomatoes. Last year I got 30 or 40 quart-sized jars of that, and it was fantastic. Some of my seedlings that I've started and are going to plant out. Right here I have, let's see, these are the yellow pear, which is like a little grape-sized cherry tomato, and it's a yellow color and shaped like a pear. And then I got some Mr. Stripey, some Lemon Boy, which is a yellow, and then I've got Super Beefsteak, and then I've got the Super Sweet 100, which is a cherry tomato that's supposed to put out an enormous amount of tomatoes. I've never grown it before. I've grown different types of cherries with great success. Right there I planted some watermelon. We'll see how that does. I've never grown watermelon. Well, I've never grown it successfully. I grew it last year and had one watermelon. The squirrel got it. Right there is the last of my collards from last year. I just dug up 2 more that were bigger than that. That's actually about 30 inches tall. I eat collards year-round down here because it's a hot weather crop, and we had a mild winter, so it wintered over for me. Along the fence I have cucumbers. I have acorn squash behind the corn, and you can see those are trays of the peppers that I have over there. So where the corn didn't come up, I'm probably going to plant the peppers in the ground right there. Between the corn over here, I've got gray zucchini. Gray zucchini grows great for me. I have not had success with the other zucchinis because of fungus and worms, but this one seems to withstand everything, and I get some nice, large, very nice, meaty zucchini. Over here, my first 7 Dutch buckets. You can see I've done various things with them. The 2 biggest plants are Cherokee Purple. And I'm doing an experiment. I've got Cherokee Purple in the ground over there, which is actually the same height. These 2 here, the 2 big ones here, were much bigger at first, but now they've sort of evened out. But between these 2 plants, I have 60 tomatoes on these 2 big plants, whereas over here, I may have 3 or 4 small tomatoes apiece. So they are growing them, and there's going to be a lot because there's lots of budding or blooming, but nothing yet. So it's a later start. Then the smaller plants are excuse me, beefsteak, and then I've got a Super Sweet 100 there. My little hydroponics experiment. These are just 8-gallon Rubbermaid tubs with styrofoam floating in the top. Neti pots with hydroton in there, and then just nutrified water and aerated with airstone and a aquarium pump. You can see it's lettuces, different stages of growth. These will be harvested pretty soon. I've got some bib in the front. I have an Akimo cabbage on the right side. That's the first time I've done that in hydroponics. I've got some romaine. There's like 3 heads in there, so I need to cut 2 of the smaller heads so that a big head can grow. Here's my most recent seedlings. These are, well, you can see they went in 318. It's now 4/7, so that's what, a couple of weeks maybe. Off to a slow start, but once they get the roots in the water, they take off. Here's another one that's will be the second harvest, and here's the 3rd harvest. These look bad because I've actually pulled these out of some of the other tubs, and they suffered a little bit of shock, but they are coming back. You can see the center leaves are starting to stand up, so I'll lose those outer leaves, but the center leaves will come up. Okay, so that's what I have. You can see it. And this is a standard size backyard. I'm using about 1/3 of my backyard for a garden, so you can grow a lot in a standard size backyard. I'm going to try and post this. We'll see how it goes. Leave your comments. Thank you.